sign into the web page in front of us. Okay, so as you can see, this home page will show you an overview of how your shares are performing. If you go down, you might have your account or demo account in front of you. At the bottom, the shares you've bought so far on your portfolio that you've bought. Okay, so now we want to see which shares I'm busy monitoring. So if you want to open up your personal watch list, on the left hand side here is the menus you can use. To open up your watch list, you just go to analysis and you go down to stocks. On this page, mostly I'm using my stocks and watch list at the top, and I normally also use digital advisors to find new shares to play with, trade with. At the top, we're going to my stocks and watch list. And here is my 8 shares on this right hand side that I am busy monitoring at the moment, and we're going to go through them one by one. Okay, let's start off one of my favorite shares. At the top I have clicks, so I'm going to click here. So if you want to open the share on your watch list, you can see this I right over here, I for info. That's to open up the share. If you want to remove the share from your list, you just click on this red dustbin and the share will be removed. I'm going to click on this I. So the first share I have on my watch list is Clicks Group Limited. In front of you, you have a small summary of basically what you are monitoring. I can see Clicks Group Limited, CLX. It will give you a small paragraph regarding the company, what the share is about, and the type of share you are investing in. If you're looking for more detail, on the left-hand side, you will find more detail regarding this company. So firstly, you do have directors' dealings. Yeah, I can see when directors are physically buying and selling from their own company. Basically, if one director buys or sells, maybe it's something personal. You want to buy a new boat or upgrade his house. If 3 or 4 directors are buying to the share, it's something good you can look at to actually invest in. So, Mr. Engelbrecht, only one director actually sold off a few of his shares in April 2018. As you can see, if 3 or 4 directors are selling, there's something fishy going on this share. Then you have your dividends. Dividends will show you when the share actually pays out dividends and how much they pay out. So I can see Clicks pays out in January and July of each year. You can see the share actually pays out dividends. You also notice the share pays out a higher dividend than the previous years. If we look at the final dividend, 222, 187, 167, 144. So if a share keeps on paying out a higher dividend, it means it's a good long-term investment you can have a look at. Financials, income, balance sheets, cash flow. And lastly, we're looking at market news. I believe Clicks is opening about almost 40 new stores at the moment. Yeah, Clicks to open 58 new stores. That was news earlier this year, 29th of April. Okay, so that's basically basic information on the company. Now, at the bottom, there's my buy shares, ChartIQ, and my watch list. So we're going to go to ChartIQ to open up the graph on this company. Okay, so if you have a look at this company, firstly, you have your main price graph going up and down, and you have this red line. This is a 200-day simple moving average, and this share is actually moving into a positive trend. So if you do find a share with the red lines going up like this, and the share is nice and cheap on your stochastic, like over here, you have a good buy. At the moment, If you look at your stochastic, you have two lines. You have a 20 and 80. 20, perfect time to buy the share, and 80, perfect time to sell the share. So you want to buy the share nice and cheap when the share crosses the bottom at 20 and sell the share when the share gets to 80. Again, rebuy the bottom and sell the top. At the moment the share is at the bottom, perfect bullish market. So this is one of my first recommendations to maybe add to your watch list to maybe look to invest in. I'm going to close this one. I'm going to close it over here. Let's have a look at share number 2, Santam. So I'm going to click on this small I. Share should open up in front of you. Again, on your left-hand side, you have more information on the company. The bottom, same buy, chart, and watch list. Let's go back to ChartIQ on Santam. Okay, you will notice this share is moving into a bear market. The red line going down. I'll come back to this share. Let's quickly, I'm on the left hand side. I'm going to type in J203. J203. Enter. Now, this in front of you, this is a JSE. And you can see the JSE had a perfect bullish market since 2019, going up quite nicely. And then the market crashed. It went down, but let's have a look here. 58,000, 57,000. It went down about maybe 50 to 40% of its total market. It recovered about 70% of what it's lost. So the market, quite strong at the moment, made up for what it's lost. But still, the market is moving into a bear market. Red line going down. So most of your shares will be moving into a bear market. So I will show you a few shares in a bear market, but has recovered over the past maybe 3-4 months or so. Let's go back to Santam. Okay, so what you can see, if you zoom in, you want to buy the share at this 20 marks, like over here, you had perfect buying point. So what I've done, I just clicked on select tool. I've chosen horizontal. I took the previous 20 mark and I've just clicked once. The share went up, went down, and the share turned again. But this time, the share turned higher than the previous turning point. So the share actually have recovered over the past 2 months or so. And that is why I've added this to my watch list, and the share turned for a buy. I'm going to close Santam, close again. Let's go to share number 3. I'll click on the I again for on TCP. Transaction Capital Limited. We're going to ChartIQ. Shares opening. Same over here. The share made a 20.20 mark over here. That was perfect buying point. And the share just turned again. And there you have another buying point, and the share is turned quite higher than that previous selling point. So the share is making a new recovery. That's share number 3. You can look to add to your watch list. We're going to close this one. Close. Let's go to the 4th share. Neighbor Rock Castle PLC, real estate investment. We can open up this company. Same over here, the share has dropped. The share made a turning point at 20, and the share is quite higher than the previous turning point, and the share is now at a buying point, as you can see. So we're going to close this one. Let's go to the next share. dot tick. ChartIQ. Okay, the share also gone down after bear market. Because of bear market, the share turned at your 20 mark. The share again turned at 20, but this time again higher. And the share's at the moment in a buying point right over there. There's quite a few shares that actually turned the past few days. Let's go to the second half of the list. ARL, I, Astral Foods Limited. I'm going to go to the ChartIQ. Okay, now Simon's Clicks. This one is one of the few shares that's quite cheap, but also moving into a bullish market, just like Clicks. So if your share's in the bullish market, the share's nice and low, definitely something to have a look at. Now, this one have not turned yet. You can clearly see red is above black. So I would say monitor this one, wait for it to turn. If it turns, you can look to invest. Second last share. We're going to open up Allied Electronics Corporation. Okay, same. You can see the share hit the 20 mark right over here, nice and low, and the share is higher than the previous turning point. Now, if you look at this one is still actually moving down. If this company stays above this 14 Rand, about 14.50 a share, if it stays above this, I will still monitor it. If the share falls, and the share actually falls past this point, the previous turning point, I will remove this from my list. So as long as it stays above this point, you can look to invest. If stochastic goes up and it stays above this point, I'm going to show you a share that has fallen past its previous turning point, just to give an example of what to look at before you look to add a share to your watch list or to buy a share. So for now, this one is safe. CCO. Another thing I want to show you about these shares is if a share is turning higher than a previous turning point, but the share is in a bear market, these shares are strictly short-term investments. You're not going to keep it. You're going to buy it cheap, sell it somewhere, and take your profit. You can rebuy the same share to make a profit again. Only if the share is moving into a positive trend like clicks. We'll come back to clicks again. Then you can look at long term. But if a share is moving in a bear market, strictly short term. Same with the previous share. As long as the share stays above this point, you can monitor it. If it goes below your 28 Rand, 28.89 or so share, leave it. Okay. I believe that was the last one on my list. Okay. If you want to open, let's say now, let's go back to our short list. So I'm going to go to analysis stocks. I believe it's already open. So actually we went to my stocks and watch list just to open up my list I'm busy monitoring. So now I'm going to go down to additional advisors to show you where I found the shares that I've actually added to my watch list. So on additional advisors, I normally use the following two. I go to stochastic, until it shows at the bottom. There, stochastic actually shows. Also going to click on long. It will show on the right hand side. Now I'm going to add my personal filters. I recommend at volume you always use greater 20,000. At stochastic, always use by. Define shares below 20 on your stochastic. And for me personal, I normally use a price filter of greater than 5 Rand. That's something optional. Now the shares you can see in gold or blue, and I already have the share, is all shares that I'm busy monitoring. So most of the shares I've actually found from this list. So what you can actually do is you can simply go through this list, you click on the share, any one of the shares on this list, you simply open up the company, ChartIQ, and I can see the share has turned higher than the previous ending point. So you can add it to watch list and maybe buy the share. So that's one good example. Let me show you a bad apple or bad example from this list. I'm going to click on Hoskin Cons. So now I'm going to open up this share. Now, if you have a look at this company, you can clearly see this was the share's previous selling point, and the share that today is lower than the previous selling point. Something that keeps on dropping, I will skip a share like this. Okay, I have a question here. If you want to go short, must we put short? I believe you're talking about CFDs, so they're calling it short. So if you want to, if you go short and the share falls, you are making a profit. But if you go short and the share goes up, you are losing. So if you want to go short, I would recommend getting a share that's actually moving into a bear market. And you want to buy a share that, or basically short a share that's actually busy falling. So if you can see the share gone up, the share turned like over here, then you want to short. So you short the share goes down, and then you're making a profit as the share goes down. But that you need a CFD account to short. So let's say you trade through Standard Bank, you pick you want to trade CFD, you just choose sell, and then you choose the share you want to sell and how much you want to sell, and if the share goes down, then you're making a profit. I hope it answers your question for you. So I won't short a share actually performing like clicks. Click is going up, I will never short a share like this. If the share must be going down before I will ever short the share. Personally, I prefer to only long a share, only buy the share to go up, but you can also short. Okay, pleasure. Okay, so I'm going to close down this graph. I'm going to close down this one as well. Okay, so I gave you my top shares and that you can have a look at. If you want to learn a lot more about the share market, you can go down to education, where you can learn a lot more about the stock market. So let's go through education, and I'll show you our last contact details you can give us a call on. So On education, you have your lecture modules. Now, over here, you can learn a lot more about the share market. This will give you basic info about the share market. You have your introductory, technical, fundamental, and economics. At introductory, you have all of your small lectures you can go through. So if I want to open up the first lecture, you just click on more. To open up the session, you can go down this list. To go through the session, it will also give you normally a graph or two and as well a video two you can go to. The video two is also based on what you've read. So I'm going to close down this. After you've gone through the lecture, you can go to exams. We went to introductory, motivation, and start exam, and we will ask you, like you can see, 10 monkey puzzle questions on what you have read. Then you have your webinars. You have your webinar bookings. A lot of our webinars you will find over here you can attend. These are the one for Thursday, and I believe one for Monday. Yes, Thursday, and for Tuesday we had 2 other sessions. The one for Thursday was 1 to 1:30, and the one for Tuesday was 7 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. You know how to make a booking for these sessions. If you've missed a few of these sessions, you simply go to Live Webinar Archive, where you can have an update on what happened throughout those sessions. If you have any further questions, at the top you have Contact Us to give us a call. Normally the office number is from 8 to 4 in the weekdays and from 8 to 12 on Saturdays. You need to have 24/7 after support numbers you can call after our office have closed. Then at Need Support, fill in your comment and we will gladly give you a call. I hope you have enjoyed this session, and I hope if you have a few new shares to maybe add to your personal watch list. I want to say further and goodbye to everyone.